Welcome to Porch Play Chat, sponsored by the American Association for Promoting the Child's Right to Play, or our shortened title is IPA-USA. IPA-USA is the USA affiliate of the International Play Association. You can find more about IPA-USA and IPA World at ipaworld.org. And you can find more about IPA-USA at ipa-usa.org. So I'm Deb Lawrence, and I'm the president of IPA-USA. And as part of our efforts to promote play, we've introduced Porch Play Chats. And these are just conversations with folks who are just as passionate about play as we are. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel and to our Facebook page, magically, every Monday, a new Porch Play Chat will appear in your feed. You can find our Facebook page and our YouTube page by going to ipa-usa.org. And up in that top right-hand corner are the links to both our Facebook page, Instagram, and YouTube channel. So subscribe there, and it's so much fun. We have over 100 Porch Play Chats, and we're growing every year. So they're free to you. You don't have to be a member. So with me on the porch today is Janine Dodge. Hi, Janine.
Hi, Deb.
So nice to meet you or see you again. I see you all the time on the world meetings. Janine is a director and past president of IPA Brazil, and she's the co-author of the book, and you're going to have to pronounce that book for me.
A Descoberta do Brincar.
Which is the discovery of play, which sounds amazing, which documents primary research about play in Brazilian families. She's a frequent speaker about play and has developed numerous publications, workshops, and projects and courses on the topic on behalf of IPA Brazil. Janine lives in São
Paulo, yeah.
Thank you, Brazil, and is the mother of 3 teenage children. Oh my goodness, I was the mother of 3 teenage children. And then my second marriage, I was the mother of 3 more teenage children. Yeah, woo.
Wow.
They were very different teenage children, which was very good.
You're a teenage specialist.
I hope not. I hope never. So Janine's topic today is so interesting. It's the guardians of play, the experience of training older adults to be guardians of play in São Paulo, Brazil. So Janine, this is such a fascinating topic, and I love that title and want to steal it. Can you talk to us about exactly what the Guardians of Play project is?
Sure. So first of all, I want to thank you, Deb, so much for being part of this. It's a great honor to be part of the fantastic group of people who've been on the Porch Chats. They are fabulous. And I think it's a fabulous idea.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, fabulous idea. And it's a real honor to be here and to be with everybody who's watching and listening. And I hope that I can contribute some ideas, maybe provoke some people some ideas. And we love people who copy all good ideas. So if anything, and if we can help out, that would be great. And it's a real honor to be able to talk to you a little bit about this project. So we developed this program called Guardians of Play in IPA Brazil, together with partners. Our partners were the São Paulo State Council for Seniors, and as well as São Paulo Municipal Community Centers for Seniors and Intergenerational Community Centers, and local community centers for vulnerable children. So the program we developed, consisted of 17 3-hour weekly workshops for seniors on play, on all different topics of play. It was divided into 3 different modules. So one module was play, art, and culture. The next module was play and human rights, building ties. And the third module was play and community engagement. And in the third module, the seniors themselves put together, with our help, put together a play day, which is a model that we use, together, and invited children from the community centers, vulnerable children in their neighborhoods, to participate in a play day together with the seniors. And the seniors then also photographed. We did workshops around play and perception and interpretation and valuing play. And they then took photographs with our support of the play day as it was going on. And we did an exhibit for the community of play called Play Is, which was the seniors' perception, seniors taking pictures of play at the play days to share with the community as well. So it was a really exciting and incredibly rewarding project. We ended up having, our goal was for 400 seniors to participate. We had 840 seniors participate in 12 classes across all regions of the city of São Paulo, which is a large city, and in all socio-demographic areas. So from the least privileged to the most privileged areas. And it was a program that inspired, I think, all of us on all sorts of different fronts. So from those participating to those who were teaching. So each one of our 17 workshops is given by a different professional who is really specialist in their specific aspect of play.
Mm-hmm.
So that it also gave an opportunity not only for more of our team, our large team of training. So IPA Brazil focuses, its work is really primarily focused on training adults about play in a way of offering children more opportunities to play. It really depends on us adults
Mm-hmm.
helping make that happen. And so this course was designed to train seniors about play and helping them value their role in promoting play in the family and the community. So our insight was that we have most parents in Brazil, both parents work.
Mm-hmm.
Children are at school for long periods of time or on their own for significant periods of time. Increasing security concerns and anxieties mean that most children, or a lot of children, do not have the same access to the street or have any access to green spaces or have places to play or interact with others.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, we have seniors, an increasing senior population in Brazil. In Brazil, seniors are as of 60 years old. So we have increasing population over the age of 60 who are not valued really, honestly, as we strongly believe they should be, and their role, and so the role they have in the community, they really aren't seen as having such an active role, many of them. And we said that, no, this is completely wrong. We need seniors, they need a role, they need to feel the purpose. Many frequently fall into depression or feel isolated, don't feel they have a purpose, they aren't treated particularly well. No, we need seniors. Our children need interaction with adults and seniors, and the seniors need it. And we thought if we can bring these two populations together, that both seniors have more time, have patience, have opportunity, have a lifetime of experience to share, and children need time from adults, some support, belief in what they're doing, and just someone to watch over them a little bit to enable them to do what they want to do, play. They don't need to be played with necessarily, they just need the opportunity and space and time to play. So that was the idea behind it. And it was, it really exceeded all of our expectations. So we saw tremendous benefits. We set out really thinking of the kids, to be honest. It was more about, we need more people to help give kids opportunities to play. And unless we engage adults, and parents aren't able to, for the most part, or frequently are just too busy, too stressed with everything in everyday life, then who can we engage? And so it was really thinking about that. And the results were not only tremendous for the kids, which we somewhat expected, but that was really exciting to see, but it was incredible the positive impact it had on the seniors, which we had not really thought about that far through, to be honest. We did it based on sort of a feeling and a belief, and then we said, let's just try it out. And it exceeded all of ours, and in particular that the staff as well of the community centers and the counts for seniors. There's so many paradigms about play in kids and false paradigms about adults, seniors, and their playfulness or their ability to learn, their ability to create things. On both sides, there are all these paradigms that, within play, we all know about fighting those, but are that, play is not nothing. And in the same way, seniors are no longer have nothing to contribute, right? So there are all these false myths that we have, or societal myths that we have, that we need to deconstruct for the benefit of everybody. And this program was just incredible for us in seeing how that came about. So
I'm curious about, amazing, right? The 17 different courses that the seniors took, of course, they have more time. And if they're invested and say, this is some way that I can contribute, how was the recruitment on the senior side done to get them to come to 17 sessions?
Absolutely. And that was actually a really good point, Deb, because that was the first question we had when we would So we approached each individual community center. So the municipality of São Paulo has community centers scattered throughout the city of varying degrees of activity or not, size, all sort of things you can possibly imagine, where that are designed to be able to be spaces where seniors can come together. So the first thing we did was try and map those, which wasn't actually that easy, and then approach each one of them one by one, approach them because they're really run as independent centers, and approach the staff and management of each center to say, we would like to do this. We have this idea. We would like to offer this course in your space. Is it possible? And the first reaction was, seniors will not do courses. They come and do activities. So a weekly yoga classes or cooking or arts and crafts or all sorts of range, music, choir, but they will not do courses. And we said, well, we'd like to test that. First of all, as I said, we did this on a hope and a belief, and we said, we'd like to test that. And the response was almost universally, we're not interested, which was until we found one intergenerational community center who believes that, you know what, this sounds really interesting and we want to take it on. And like a lot of things, once you get one and then you can find one and then you can find one, then slowly everybody starts to come on board. It's a little less, and we would say it's our risk, if things don't work, it's our risk. So, what's been wrong? We will explain that it's ours. We will take on the responsibility. So that was one really big concern. Would seniors be able to stick it out? And the other was, how do we recruit? So again, we ended up giving in each one of these senior centers, we went and gave a presentation. So we just asked if we could take a coffee time when they told us this is when most seniors are around. And we said, we'd like 10 minutes of your time to explain this idea that we have and to invite you to join us with no issue. If you choose that it's not interesting, that's okay. And if you choose to not be available, that's okay. But we feel really strongly that you have a really big role to play. And we need you to play this role. We need you to take on the role of guardians of play. We need this desperately, and we would like to engage you. And we believe it's something that you will also really enjoy. And so it was piece by piece, but actually the seniors themselves, everybody worried that, people wouldn't want to commit to that and they're retired or they have other work to do or they're taking care of their grandchildren, all these things. And that was actually completely not true. So
perception versus reality.
Perception versus reality. So we had over 70% of the seniors who participated. So they had to get, and this was another thing we requested. We said, in order for them to get a certificate, they have to participate. So it's going to be, we're going to have a limit. They need 75% participation to get a certificate. And we're going to be rigid. And they were, we don't think this is going to go. And we said, well, we have our funders and we have our commitments. And if it's not appealing, then there we go. We know that this isn't a project worthwhile, but we need these measures. And we feel it's important the seniors understand we believe in them. And so let's see. And in fact, we had over 70% completed and got certificates for at least one of the modules. So again, it was sort of astounding at what the expectation versus what the reality when they're engaged. And for many of them, we had at the end, we ended up creating a certificate ceremony at the end of each module to celebrate what they'd achieved, to celebrate the importance of it, to give the recognition of the commitment they'd given of their time and effort and energy. And we had many saying they had not received a certificate of completion of a course, some in their lifetime.
Oh, wow.
As in the vulnerable communities in São Paulo, as in even Canada, the US, they hadn't had the opportunity to complete their education, whether it was even grade school education or high school, let alone secondary education. But really, if you're completing elementary education, for many, especially in that generation, it's not a given by any means. And so the sense of pride and achievement and valuing. So we actually find that those demands are important, right?
Yeah.
Because it says
setting expectations, really important.
Really important. So it says, we believe in you and we need you to believe in this. And this isn't a joke, right? Play is not a joke.
Right.
Being in a pejorative sense, jokes can be wonderful, but it's not a joke in a pejorative sense. This is something of great importance and of great value. And from the get-go, your role is critical. We are here because it's critical. We're not here because we have nothing else to do. You're not here because you've got nothing else to do, right? You can have other things, other choices. And so I think that was incredible. And we saw the 5 sort of key takeaways, if I could share them with you, from the seniors' perspective and then the kids' perspectives. So the seniors' perspectives was, one is this idea of recovery of childhood. So this was demonstrated not only in terms of how play enabled the seniors, just like it enables children, but enabled children to recover and relive childhood memories, but also in terms of how it enabled them to explore and recover this notion of an inner child, which was not something we talked about or expected, but they brought up this notion and where their own creativity and emotions reside. So in the same way we see with children, one of the critical things is it enables children to allow their creativity to flourish, their emotions to come through, to feel, to sense. It is the same with adults and the same with seniors, and many of whom, and as adults, we tend to cut those things off. And so many who get and sort of feel disconnected or feel like, I'm not creative. I don't know. And
with all those products they had to do when they were in school, right?
Exactly. All these myths and these things are the creative people, and then they're the non-creative, and all these ideas that just keep going all through life. And so it enabled, through playing, it enabled the same benefits in the way that we see with children at a different level, but for them to re-engage with their own memories of childhood, to create new memories of childhood and new opportunities, and to then explore their own creativity and their own emotions. Nice. So that was a huge takeaway. Another was the sincere exchange of affection. So this is one that's very interesting because, again, playing with others, you're playing because you want to play, right? The initial thing, the whole concept of free play and not in a school or directed play, right? Is that you're there because you want to, and that's immediately perceived. And the same with all adults and the same with older adults, right? So this sincere exchange of pleasant, joyful, and there's so much in our life that is not sincere, right? And so much is sort of transactional, and play is not, right? It's an opportunity to sincerely go with what is there and sincerely interact. So this sincere exchange of affection, seniors with other seniors and seniors with children, contributed to perceived improvements in self-image, perceived strengthening of sense of identity, and perceived increased sense of self-worth, right? So this notion of what I can, and that important engagement. We saw improved health metrics, and the managers of the community centers help because they know their groups of people from over longer time, and they're always a social worker, a psychologist, and the manager of the center. So over the length of course, many seniors also commented to us. We interviewed after each class, there was a long interview or feedback from each senior, commented about the increase in physical, cognitive, and social activity that they experienced while playing. So just like children, seniors would come in and comment spontaneously about how they were moving around a lot more and using muscles they hadn't used, right? So they were sore stiff, right? So that's, as with kids. Many commented with delight about the pleasure of exchanging stories, which is cognitive. So this exchange of stories and thinking and acting and reacting and listening, and social, while playing. So, and the other thing that we saw, which is what was not expected, and again, these paradigms we have, that the seniors could show great focused concentration, learning new games, engaging in play, something that the center professionals said they didn't often observe, right? So this focused concentration, which people sort of think, people are increasingly less capable of or learning new things. No, that's not the case at all.
It's because you're not giving them those opportunities or making it interesting and playful enough.
Exactly.
Right?
Which is just like children, right? The same thing. Children can always learn something. If we give them the opportunity to learn something new, they focus. So, these hyperactive kids who don't focus, if they're given an opportunity to learn something that's engaging to them and play with something, they focus very, very much so. So greater happiness and fewer symptoms of depression, which we haven't said. And there was an interesting article recently about a program in Spain, which they were talking about the same senses of not only happier, but less depression. And we had about one senior per class who stated, when we interviewed, that they credited the course with helping them recover from feeling down, isolated, or depressed. And
Wow.
the professionals, the staff professionals, the biggest thing they talked about was this increase of happiness amongst the groups, just an overall lasting sense of increase of happiness. And the fifth, a better social interaction, which is what we expect with children and play as well, as an outcome, not the objective, but as an output of play is greater social interaction. And the same with adults of any age and seniors, greater trust and strengthened bonds. And you have to remember, when we talk about senior community centers, these were seniors over the age of 60, and we tend to say, oh, it's all one group. Well, no, from 60 to 93. So the oldest participant we had was 93 years old, from 60 to 93. And that's several generations. We don't say that people from the age of 10 till, let's say, 33 years, 43 are all one generation. But we tend to treat older adults as if it's this homogeneous block somehow.
Right. Right.
And what they said, in the same way that play breaks down barriers between children of all ages when they play together, the same thing happened. They saw it broke down barriers between older, less old, newer participants in the center, older participants in the center, and it created this greater trust and strengthened bonds between the groups, and obviously as well, which we expected, but was clear, between seniors and children. So they felt that their ability to engage with children, to appreciate children, and to be themselves with children increased, right?
Wow.
So they were able to feel free.
So what I am curious about is you had enormous success. Did you get refunded for this to try it again?
So we're hoping now next year we'll have refunding. So we finished it in 2020, just as COVID hit. So we had been to start the program again and COVID hit, and we've adapted other programs of our programs online. We didn't adapt this program yet to an online format.
Right.
So, and I would still feel much better if we could do it again in person format.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that in the beginning of next year, we have good signs. I can't say, 100%, but we have very good indications that we'll be able to run the program again next year. So in 2020.
So the seniors that participated in 2020 and then COVID hit, like, and the whole world stopped, right? Do you think that they might, have you thought about re-engaging them and asking them if they've done any more playful interactions now that it's a little less, I don't know what it's like in Brazil. Here it's much better. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, so we have some great stories around that. So a couple of things were, one is people, which we didn't expect, but many of the seniors said they would like to do it again. So that they would like to do the course again. I said, but if you've done it, I said, no, but we want to, because there's play is just, there's so much in play, right? So every time you engage in some kind of play, it's a new discovery. And so they're really interested. So that was interesting. So the center said we would like to do it, even in the centers where we did it, we'd like to do it again. And there are a lot of seniors in those centers who didn't participate the first time, who said, oh, well, now that I know my friend did it, and it's word of mouth. Right, huge. Word of mouth.
Right, huge. Yeah.
And we've had some incredible feedback about, in one group where there's an intergenerational. So one of the areas there's one intergenerational center that we worked with in Brazil. They started to try this project together at a municipal level, and it didn't really take off, but there are a few intergenerational where you have a seniors community center really on the same space as a center for vulnerable children. Now, what we found when we went to them, they said, okay, but we don't have actually interaction. So we have children do their thing and seniors do their thing, but we don't have this. And so our program said, well, we want to bring them together. That's the point, right? That's the idea. And from that, the seniors who took the course ended up continuing to do organized weekly play days on their own with the children in that area, which was, the center couldn't believe it. We're just so thrilled.
Because those children in particular, if they're vulnerable as it already, those children in particular need those playful interactions and experiences.
Absolutely. And then we have had numerous people come back to us and say that within their family, it's made a big difference. So in the way that they engage with either grandchildren or great nieces, nephews, or neighborhood kids. So we had a person come back and said that she was one of the people on the block who didn't like the kids playing in front of her house because it was noisy and she thought they might get hurt and she didn't like it. And she came back and gave us a wonderful testimonial about how she changed. She became the person on the block who went out and actually put a little sign that her front space the kids could use, and that she thought that more of the neighbors should get in and say, let's dedicate these spaces in front of our houses as play spaces for the kids.
Oh my God, that in itself is the funding right there.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you've ever read the book Miss Chizzy. It is this lovely, wonderful book that this woman is in this neighborhood, and it's all the little, cookie cutter houses. And then you come to Miss Chizzy's house and it has wildflowers and it's just crazy. And on Mondays, Miss Chizzy does this with children. And on Tuesday, she does this. It's the most incredible book ever. And it sounds like every one of those adults needs Miss Chizzy in their language, because they would be like, oh, we could do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
An amazing book.
We just need advocates. And that's that book. Is like, you just need, we would encourage each of the guardians of play. And so some we knew from the beginning, some will take it just as an internal shift in the way they think of things and look at things. Some will enact it within their immediate family, which is already found out, and some will maybe take it further, right? And go beyond their doors. And so we've definitely had very strong feedback. We intend to go back. I'm hoping to get a little bit of funding to go back. And regardless, I know I'm going to go back and revisit the centers in the second half of the semester and talk to the managers again and see what they're seeing. It's now 2 years on. Some of them finished already in the middle of 2019, so 3 years on, and just see what they sense or what they feel or if there are any longer lasting shifts. So we're looking to try and do some of that.
Oh my goodness, just the research itself. And have you written it up yet?
So I have written up, but I haven't actually. I was just actually thinking I was talking to actually more of the people who are some of your interviewers. So Shelley Newstead from PARS in the UK, and I was talking to Shelley, and she's like, "Oh, I'll help you figure this out because it's not my world as much." But we have written it up, and we've done numerous talks and presentations about it. But I would like to publish the work so that other people can take it and just copy and criticize and add to it.
Absolutely. And we have a journal. IPA-USA has a journal.
Oh, well, I will. Yeah, in fact, I know the journal.
Yeah,
It's a wonderful journal.
Bring that to you. And the latest one that we just published, so that you can see it. You may have gotten it. Did you get it? It was. I think we published it in
not the latest
May or June. And it goes to members. That's one of the membership benefits. I'll forward it to you because that way you can see sort of the format. It's very playful, and there's lots of photos.
Which is wonderful. I told Deb prior, for everybody listening, I told Deb prior I wanted to share all sorts of pictures. So
yeah,
I will share more pictures. And I also just want to mention some of the benefits, if you don't mind, like
that's fine.
The kids, because I think these were some really interesting as well. So one was we interviewed children as well after we observed, and then we had permissions to interview some of the children. So one was this notion of cultural transmission. So this intergenerational play really favors that naturally. So this process by which cultural elements, whether it's attitudes, values, beliefs, right, behavioral scripts, are passed or taught on to other individuals or groups. And children who participated in the play days afterwards shared their excitement after about learning new old games, right? Yeah. Because the seniors brought their repertoire, and what we encouraged them all through the course was sharing their repertoire with each other. So expanding their memory of the repertoire or increasing their repertoire of playfulness, whether it's games or music or art, or how to show themselves and share themselves. So games that they didn't know before. So a lot of the kids found this was like these new games, which in fact were not new, right? But it's this idea of passing on, right? And it that new old gives the kids this sense of security for them to develop and abilities, right? And they see that if the senior could do it, then they can do it too, right? And that was big. Again, the sincere exchange of affection. So we saw this, just hugs. Some of the seniors, you know, depending on the comfort level, it was hugs that they would give and smiles. And that those bonds and being able to hug for the sake of hugging and not any kind of pretext, right? It was just play opportunities and a natural, spontaneous going over and giving a hug or come here and let me get like that kind of interaction on both sides. We observed, I think more than we would have, I guess I would have thought, right? And that I think perhaps adults of parenting age wouldn't necessarily go and give other children lots of hugs when they're playing. But older adults feel free and natural to do that, many of them, and need it and want it and know and appreciate how important it is, right? If they're already on their own, they know what it is and they can identify as children feeling, I need a hug and want a hug. So that sincerity of exchanges and genuine appreciation for each other, which leads to this idea of better acceptance of the seniors. So another thing, we know that they can learn them from a very early age about aging. So some of them then, they know them, so, oh my gosh, someone who's 93, you know, I'm 9, 93. How does this, and this idea of time, this notion of time and fluidity, but they're still people and they play and I can play. And so this notion that you're still you as you move through life. And for the seniors, the same thing. This idea of, wait a minute, I'm still me as I was as a kid too. Like I'm all me, you know, I'm all one. So this acceptance though of seniors and the children, especially at the intergenerational center where they have this continued interaction. So it's a very easy case to say, right about to DC exchange. And the managers clearly say that there was a significant change in the way the children who participate in the play days started to just say hi, right, to the seniors. Right. So where they were on their separate routes, they'd be like, hi, or come up to them and ask them for help about something or interact. So that lasting sense of there's a bond or a trust or something, it was created simply from the beginning of a moments of play together. It wasn't that more elaborate. It wasn't, you know, that wasn't the intent.
It's the relationship, right?
The relationship. And it comes, this is like a single play day, like one day in the life of the kids that they got to play with these seniors who they've been seeing every day, but never interacted with. And that shifted the dynamic of, okay, oh, yeah, those are friendly people and I know them and I can say hi and I can do things. And then I think the last, or not one of the last, but one of the clear things we saw was this increase in social skills as well, which comes from that. So this, for children to then engage with different people, different ages, different groups, feel comfortable engaging with older adults and look at them differently. So tolerate their differences better and their similarities, appreciate, it's an empathy that they were learning, even though they didn't say, well, I don't know anything to do with them. They're nothing like me. And then, oh, wait a minute, they play and I play and they are like me. So that those interactions that increase on language, social skills, we saw coming out of just these brief opportunities for children who may have had older adults in their life or may not, because just like, you know, in North America, families live far apart sometimes from each other.
And one of the things that we found is if children don't have access to grandparents and grandparents aren't in their typical lives because of that disparity in geography, that they're fearful of the age spots and the wrinkles and they're afraid they're catching. And so I had a little girl when I was the director of an early childhood program. I had a little girl who we did intergenerational, where grandparents of the children in the program could come and spend time in any classroom they chose to. We had some that wanted to just rock babies all day, and I'm like, come on in, right? But when they went into the older classrooms, children who did not have access to grandparents were terrified of the age spots and the wrinkles. And so, you know, we would, you know, and that was our fault. We had not brought in photos of active seniors, right? We had photos of families, we had photos of children, but we had yet to bring in active pictures of seniors. And so then we had to run to the library, get tons of books on what it's like to be a grandparent, or Where did those spots come from?
Mhm.
Or so we
Mhm.
read those to the children and then talked to the seniors and said, this is our fault. We'd like you to try again in 2 weeks. And so that it was much better, but it was such a significant learning for all of us that we assumed that all children had access to a grandparent
Right.
when
And
they did
don't.
not.
They do
And the
not.
fear was so real.
And all older adults do not have access to grandchildren.
Right.
So there's a fear the other way. So we had a lot who were fearful that what am I going to do with an 8-year-old boy? You know, if I'm a 80-year-old woman, what am I doing with an 8-year-old boy? Like he won't want to know from me, and they don't know. They spend their time on their phone. And then, and what was fascinating, we had a little boy come and said, so why do you think, you know, why do you think play is important? And what about play with these older adults, you know, who are right next door, but you don't say, well, and then he said, well, I just think they need to play. And we said, well, why do you think they need to play? Well, they need to get off their phones more and spend time with us. Isn't that interesting? So they need to spend time with us. And I mean, how awful is life if you don't play? And so, you know, this mutual, so here are the kids going, adults only play on their phones. And here are older adults going, this is a generation that does all these weird things that I don't know anything about. And they're both like, actually, it's the same concern in a way. It's like, I don't understand parts of your world. And yet when they come together and play, it's like, oh, wait a minute, we are kind of the same, right? We can do the same. We may do things slightly differently or slower or faster, whatever, but it doesn't matter. We're playful. And playfulness is not an age thing, right? Playfulness is for all of us.
I love it. I love it. And what learnings? Nadija is coming on, so I'm sending her a message.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I can go on and on about this project.
Oh my God, and I want you to go on and on. We need to do another one to do part 2, especially if you're funded again and we can just expand it. But I think I'm going to send you the journal link in the editor, because really we need to spread this far and wide. I think just the concept of guardians of play is so important in engaging seniors in the work. It's just absolutely incredible. We used to, long ago in a land far, far away, when I was an early director of a child care resource and referral agency, we had intergenerational centers in our community, but they're gone. They lost funding. I don't know why. And we worked very closely with them because they had a child development program and they had the seniors, and they did a wonderful job of only if the seniors were interested, right? It wasn't anything that seniors had to do to be with that community.
Right.
And they interacted, and it was beautiful. And seniors could come as frequently or as infrequently as they chose to. And the children just responded beautifully to it. And then they lost funding, as we must have had some governor that was of a particular party, which I won't mention, that decided that he was going to veto. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And it's surprisingly not expensive, right? So in a way, right, we need to pay. Obviously, we've developed the course, and so that, but we developed the course, and you need to pay the teachers and workshop,
of course,
workshop leaders, but that's it, right? And that's it. So the rest is, you know, we need to find people who are willing to give you access and space and time and access to people. But those things can be done, right? And it's the benefits and the outcomes are just so
rich,
so important, so rich,
and so rich, right?
So rich for all,
especially in the stories that you're telling. So I don't want to end, but we have to, because Nadine is waiting. But thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Deborah, for this opportunity to share this program. And I hope it inspires others to take it further, take new ideas, and reach out to us if we can help in any way.
And you're going to bring me pictures and things. So
and I will send you some pictures, especially of that scene that our seniors took of play and of others playing. And
because I want to go in the next one, I want to talk about what, you know, play is, and then those pictures, because I think that visual is
It's
so
huge.
incredible for
It's
people
huge.
to see. Oh, that's what play is. Oh, I remember that. Oh, I
Yeah.
did that when I was little.
Yeah.
That's what we need to get to. I love those visuals. Okay, don't go anywhere. I'll be right. I'm going to close this up. So to learn more about IPA USA, or subscribe to our website at IPAUSA.org. We have a wonderful play face-to-face conference, The Child's right now in San Antonio, Texas, coming up in October of this year. So you can email me at IPAUSA.org for more information, and we hope that you'll come. It is amazing. We have 22 states represented and 3 countries in presentations. We had so many presentations, we were having a difficult time. They're wonderful. So until next time, keep on playing.